Welcome to Situational Shift, a show where we decide what the best car is for certain situations. Today's situation is project cars, and the car we've decided is the Civic SI. Okay, so something to note is the price point, and so project cars should not start off expensive. This one we bought for about $5,000 with 120,000 miles or so. If you do want to get like an 08 or get maybe one with less miles, it'll be more expensive, obviously. So an 08 would be about $7,000, maybe pushing $10,000, depending on if it's used or not. All right, so what makes a project car a project car? It's really just the parts you put into it. So you'll see down here, this one has a 4-cylinder, 2-liter engine with VTEC. Honda were the first ones to put VTEC in, which is variable valve timing. Some upgrades you can put in are an exhaust manifold, you could do an intake, or even a big fat turbo if you really want to. Some more parts that you can put into it are things like, obviously, new wheels. These ones are lightweight lug nuts. You can put brake on it too. I think they look very nice if they're bright red. It just goes really well with the car. And then you can't really see back here, but the suspension, this does have coilovers, so you can raise it and lower it. This one does need to be raised. You can see I can barely fit my hand in there. So obviously you want to have it to a height where it works, but this got rolled fenders, so it's not really a problem right now. On the interior, a project car needs to have personal detail. So everything in here is kind of your own choice, whatever you want to do. For example, the shift knob can be heavy, can be light, whatever you want to do. In this case, we chose to go heavy. And then the e-brake, it's stock right now, but I do plan to change it in the future. Personally, I don't really like it. I just think it looks a little funny, but it's whatever you want to do. The stereo, I also want to change, but it's what we have right now. I think that it works, it gets the job done, and it's not really much to it other than, sound quality, stuff like that. The shift light, however, I personally like. It shows right here, it'll turn red once you're redlining it, so it lets you know when to shift when you are racing. Obviously, it doesn't tell you to shift when you're just driving on the road. You have to be going pretty quick for it to, sort of turn on, but it's like another rev limiter. It's kind of nice. And then, obviously, in typical project car fashion, there's always something missing. You never really have your project complete. In this case, it is the headliner. It was falling off and getting glue all over the seats, and it just had to go. So a big thing with Civics is the exhaust. A lot of people who own a Civic like to put a big exhaust on it, and it sounds like a trumpet. Well, this one is no different. This has a 3-inch exhaust, and I can fit my whole fist in it, and let me tell you, it's quite a loud car. So I apologize if you don't really understand this, but something really big with Civics is the tuning. So this one is tuned. Basically what tuning is you can go in, mess with the computer, change the air to fuel ratio, whatever you want to do, shift timing. It's basically you can make it drive however you want or just do whatever you want to it. Yep. So on the inside of this car, it is a front wheel drive, which goes very well with the coilovers we have in it. I personally think it makes for a nice smooth ride. Apologies that it's kind of loud in here. Obviously the headliner is no longer with us, so it makes for a lot more road noise. But another thing to note is how lack of torque there is in this car, but obviously with like a turbo or anything like that, it will fix that problem pretty quick and then get it tuned up for the turbo, and it'll really be ripping. One other thing to go for is the exhaust and the shift knob. It makes a lot of difference when you're driving. So for example, the weighted shift knob makes it so when you put it into gear like that, it goes in there nice and smooth. And then obviously the exhaust gets really loud at the high RPMs. I have to start speaking up for it, but you know, it's whatever. Disclaimer, we are not speeding. We are going the speed limit. Overall, the Honda Civic is a perfect project car. It's cheap, reliable. You can do just about anything you want to it. The aftermarket support for this is just phenomenal. You can change the whole appearance of the car. You can change the engine if you really want to. But it just makes for a perfect fun project. Thank you for watching this episode of Situational Shift. We'll see you in the next one.